So today we move to the next part, that is the last part. Okay. Introduction to omni-channel and hybrid channel options. The concepts are new as compared to maybe franchising, retailing, and wholesaling. Now here, due to increase in the competition, the more competitors coming into the market with the same product lines. Okay. This necessitated the marketers to search for different channel options as well as to have a mix of channels together, targeting at the end customers. Now here, this omni-channel, it means a cross-channel strategy which is used by the manufacturers or the marketers to reach to the target customers. Now, to surround the customers from all the angles. Maybe suppose you visit a store, okay? When you visit a store, after that you receive a message on your mobile, just seeking the feedback of the experience, the way you visited the store, the way you felt there. Okay, similarly, you may receive a mail about satisfaction code from a particular retailer or a dealer. That is also one of the channel. So here, when the different channels come closer to the customer, it increases or enhances the value given to the customers. That is what it means. It helps to build a better relationship with the customers. So here, the basic aim or objective is to enhance the shopping experience of the customers. Or after shopping also, when the customer uses the product, even then they are in contact with the manufacturer, maybe through the loyalty programs, different loyalty programs. So here in this, customer is at the center or core of it. And these channel options revolve around the customer and they connect the customer to the manufacturer through one or the other channel options. That is what is the basic aim or objective of this omni-channel marketing. It increases the brand value. Okay, now here when I say it increases the brand value, it means when the customer gets the service at the desired level, or it exceeds more than the customer's expectations, when the customer is very much enlightened or delighted, the customer becomes happy. Okay, so once a benchmark is set for that particular brand, it starts creating the value. The customer expects, no doubt, the same service or the same benefit out of the particular product here. And this helps in enhancement of the brand value. Now, this helps to build the brand equity of that product also. So in a sense, here a manufacturer thinks of engaging the customers to the product and ultimately to that company, which builds the loyalty. Now, many of you might have experienced, maybe if you have gone for shopping, maybe you shop clothing, garments, or maybe watch, or in the jewelry shop, anywhere. Okay, the customer, they see to it that the customer is engaged. Like maybe you get a satisfaction code which you have to give, or the ratings for the services provided by this by the company or by this retail outlet, whether the salesperson spoke to you politely, whether he gave you all the information, whether in future you are ready to buy any products of the same brand. Slowly and steadily they try to build the loyalty with the customers. Okay, and the ultimate aim of it is increasing the revenue through customer satisfaction. That is what is the objective here. Now the next is the hybrid channel options. Now here the hybrid channel options includes the multiple channel distribution systems. Now here if you see omni-channel, it is a cross-channel options, and hybrid channels options, they run at a on the parallel node or the parallel ground. So here it uses a mix of traditional and the modern approach, both the approaches. Like if we take the traditional approach, there are advertising, events, trade shows happening on the traditional backdrop. While as far as the modern approach is considered, we can say it's a digital platform today or digital era. Okay, so we have the search engine marketing, social media marketing platforms, email marketing, mobile marketing. All these are the modern approaches to reach to the customers. Nike has been very much successful company which has penetrated into the market by use of the hybrid channel options. They have the third reach party stores where they display their own products. It's into a sports goods. They have the sports shoes, clothings. Okay. They also have the retailers of Nike. They have the retailers. Then they have also their own direct channels like Nike.com. Okay, they have their own website. The customers, they reach the website and get the information about each and every product and directly place the order with the company. So here, this is what is the, they use the hybrid channel option, more channel, which run at the same time, or we can say at the parallel, on the parallel grounds. So this is about the hybrid channel options. Now here, the benefits are, just now I discussed that it also helps in reaching the mass customers. It helps in quick penetration in the market. Whenever a manufacturer thinks of a skimming strategy, that is penetrating into the market at a faster pace, they use the hybrid channel options. They try to evaluate all the options and reach the customers. So when a firm adopts one or two more channels to reach a customer, we say it's a hybrid channel system. So here, this new channel, it helps company to expand easily into the market, cover majority of the market within a less time frame. Also, it helps in customization of the product. It helps to cater to the needs of the customers. So this is about the hybrid channel options. Now we come to the next part, that is the market logistics. Now what is market logistics basically? The market logistics part, it involves planning, implementing and controlling the physical flows of materials and final goods from the point of origin to the point of the use to meet customer requirements at a profit. Now here it simply means that it involves all those activities which takes into account the physical flow of material, okay, from the point of origin, that is where it is manufactured, to the end customer, how it reaches physically, how the product reaches the end customers. That is what is market logistics. Now, many of you might be purchasing on the digital platforms. Okay, we say that digital platforms have been much more successful, where we do not need to go to the retail outlet or to a dealer. We can just have a look at the products on the digital platform, place the order. Okay, but as far as this part is considered, it is simplified. But when we speak of logistics, which is beyond the screen, happening beyond the screen, that is what is market logistics. That is, once you place the order, the goods, the manufacturing of the goods, the stocks, and reaching it to your doorstep. Okay, the customer just places the order, pays for the product, and gets the product at the doorstep. But there is a lot of process involved at the backstage beyond the screen. The manufacturer has to plan, has to think about how these products which the customers has ordered reach at their doorsteps. Now, usually the physical distribution, it starts from the factory outlets where the products are manufactured, where they are manufactured. Now, this physical distribution has also been expanded into a much broader concept called as the supply chain management. So this logistics is one of the subset or a small part of this SCM, that is supply chain management, which is much broader and specialized subject today. So here the supply chain management goes beyond just the physical distribution. It attempts to maybe procure the right from procuring the raw material, the different components, converting them into the finished goods, dispatching them to the final destinations. That is what is supply chain management. So here now just we are concentrating on a small part of supply chain, that is market logistics. Now, ICA is one of the world's largest furniture retail chain, okay, which sells good quality furniture at a comparatively lower cost as compared to the competitors. Now, here, one of the examples of ICA's cost saving stems from several sources, like the company buys large volumes of furniture that it gets at lower prices. It is designed in knockdown form and therefore shipped flat at a much lower transportation cost. Here the customer drives the furniture home, which saves the delivery cost. So it is expected that the customer should come to the shop and they carry on their own, which saves the delivery cost. This cost is of course passed on to the customers, and that's why it is affordable for the company. So here it works on a low markup and high volume as compared to many of the competitors in this field. This market logistics calls for integrated logistics systems, which involves the material management, material flows of systems, and physical distribution by information technology. That is supported by IT. Today we have many toll-free numbers which take care of the logistic parts. You can easily have the tracking system. So we say that information systems play a very important role in managing the market logistics today because of the computers and internet revolution, we can say. One can have the point of sale terminals, uniform product codes are given, there is a satellite tracking, there is the electronic data interchange and electronic fund transfer, which makes these things more easy to trace and keep a control or check on this logistics part. Now, this logistics involves several activities, like from first thing is from sales forecasting. Now, who gives you the picture to the company about the sales forecasting? The field executives. Those who are on the field, they get the information from the intermediaries like retailers or dealers and pass on this information to the company. And according to these forecasts, the company schedules the production. The production is taken into consideration. But before production, they take into consideration the inventory part. That is, the company should have that much raw material. And then the production is scheduled. So as the material arrives, through the inbound transportation, it enters the receiving area. From there, it enters into the production area. These finished goods are then finalized, refined, and we get a final good or final product ready for the dispatch. Again, the dispatchers have their own system set. They have different warehouses where these are stored, stocked, and then delivered to the end customers. So it's not a very small process, it's a lengthy process. Now, companies, if they do not take care of this logistic parts, companies may lose the customers to the competitors also. So if we see what are the objectives of this, are like getting the right goods at the right place at the right time for the minimum cost. That is what is the objectives of this market logistics. Here, there is involvement of many parties, like there is a traffic manager who favors the shipment. Okay, whether he wants to undertake the railroad or maybe through waterways, airways. So he decides the shipment and tries to cut the cost. Similarly, the shipping department takes into consideration how to ship the delivery of the goods, like whether it wants to have into a container, a small container, or a large container, cheaper containers. Okay. The inventory manager is in charge of managing the inventories. Now, this is a very tricky job actually. So here, when this manager has to think about the trade-off between the inventory, stocking the inventory, and the orders, looking into the forecast part. Now the customer is only interested in getting the goods on time. He doesn't know anything about what are the problems the manufacturer is facing in this delivery part. It is absolutely none of the concern of the customers. So here, the role of the manufacturer is more critical, since he has to take care of the interest of the customers. He needs to deliver the goods on time, with the other complexities involved in this logistic management. The company has to take into consideration the competitor strategy here. It needs to match the competitor strategy and try to find some USP so that it adds value to the customer, to the product. Okay. Here also they have to keep into mind that they need to maximize the profits, not only the sales. So the cost is one important factor which has to be looked upon. Now the company must design a system that will minimize the cost while achieving these objectives. So here, if we take into consideration the equation, it goes like M is equal to T plus FW plus VW plus S, where M represents the total market logistic cost of proposed system. T is the total freight cost of proposed system. FW is the total fixed warehouse cost. Okay. And VW is the total variable warehouse cost, including the inventory. And S is the total cost of lost sales due to average delivery delay, which has to be taken into consideration. Now here, this logistics system, it calls for analyzing this total cost associated with different variables which go into it. Because of delay, if the company loses the order, then it's not good on the part of the manufacturer. So the company always takes into consideration all these factors to achieve the optimum efficiency as far as this logistics part is considered. Moving ahead, the market logistics decisions. Here there are four important things, that is order processing, warehousing, inventory, and transportation, which deals with the questions like how should the orders be handled, where they should be stocked, where they should be located, how much stock should be held, and how goods should be shipped to the customers. So these four are the important criteria of decision making. Now, if we consider the first one, that is the order processing. Now, most companies are trying to shorten this order to remittance circle. That is the time between the orders receipt, delivery, and the payment. They want to lessen this time in these things. It involves steps like order transmission by the salesperson, order entry, and customer credit check, inventory and production scheduling. Once this scheduling is done, then the order placing and that is the placing the order for the reverse movement towards the customers. That should be taken care of. The more the time required in this circle, the more you expect the delay in this process. So this automation part has played a very important role in this order processing or the overall logistic decisions. Today we have the ERPs for this, which are very handy, which gives you a easy information. They are much more convenient today to trace any of the gaps in this. And the next is the warehousing. Now here, every company has to store the finished goods unless and until they are stored. Maybe many of the companies, they have their own warehouses. Many of them, they just rent out the warehouses. Many of them, they need the warehouses during the shipment also. Especially today we have the automated or fully automatic warehouses, distribution warehouses. Those products which require the cold storage, okay, they have the cold storage warehouses. Now here, the more the goods lie with this warehouses, more is the rent. If the company does not has its own warehousing, in that case, they have to pay more as the delay increases. So here, the company should see to it that they should lessen the time frame as far as the storage is of this products in the warehouses is considered. Similarly, more stocks, okay, if they are placed in the warehouses, that is the inventory lock, that is the money of the company which is locked. The investments are locked here. So the forecasting and the order delivery has to match. Single story automated warehouses with advanced material handling systems under a control of central computer, that is possible today. So with the help of this, one can easily think of having the control over the movement. The next is inventory. Now inventory levels represent the major market logistics decisions. Now how much to stock is one of the prime important decision that a manager has to look into, because inventory cost increases at an increasing rate as the customer level approaches 100%. Knowing when to order, how much to order is again a different issue. More the quantity ordered, less frequently the order has to be placed, but more would be the investment locked in this inventory. Now here the company has to have a trade-off between the order processing cost and the inventory acquiring cost. So both of the things has to be managed by the manager. The larger the average stock carried, the higher are the inventory carrying costs. That should be taken into consideration by the managers. Now here this carrying cost include the storage charges, the cost of capital, the taxes, insurance, depreciation. So that's why today if we see the companies going for a just-in-time production methods, which helps to change the inventory planning practices. The next part is transportation. Now, transportation decisions are of prime importance. They affect the on-time delivery performance. In shipping goods to its warehouses, to the dealers, to the customers, the company can choose among the transportation modes. They can have the railways, roadways, airways, waterways, pipelines are there. It depends. Now here again, this depends upon the type of product category. If they are very much bulky, heavy, one cannot think of having the rail as options. Again, the criteria like speed, frequency, dependability, capability, availability, and the cost are the factors which have to be thought of. Now, if you think of airways, they are very quick. But here, as far as the weight is considered or bulkiness of the product is considered, that is a problem here. And it is more expensive as compared to the others. For pipelines, you need to have that category of product, then only you can think of having pipelines. Today, we also have the containerization, which consists of putting the goods in boxes and trailers that are easy to transfer in between the two transportation modes. Maybe you load into a trucks and you reach at the ports. From there, they go into the ships and again to the different ports. Now, piggyback describes the use of rails and trucks, while fishyback the water and trucks. So here, which is the cheaper means, which is the costly means, and what are the requirements? Suppose if the product is very much perishable, like you are into horticulture, there is no option but to go for the quicker means of transport. It may be expensive, but there is no choice because the product is perishable. So here it depends upon the type or category of the product also when you decide about the transportation. Now here again, the company may have their own department, transportation department. They may have the contracts with the private owners, with the shippers. It can be totally outsourced to third party. So here these are again options available for the companies. The companies go for tie-ups many times with the third party. So this is about the transportation and about the market logistics decision. So here we finish with this third part, third chapter. Now we move on further with the promotional part. That is the fourth P, very important P. That is the promotion. So here, what is the role of the marketing communication? That is the first and foremost thing. Communication deals with informing the customers. Now, informing about what? Informing about the product, informing or creating awareness about the product, about the use of the product, about any new promotional schemes, persuading them, persuading the customers about the product, reminding them about the product, reminding them of the features. Maybe for the seasonal products, you might have observed as soon as the season comes near, the manufacturer starts with the promotional tools. You may see the advertising popping up in the print media or on the television or on the FM channels. So here they try to remind the customers about the product. Now this marketing communications, they have many functions to perform. Like they tell the customers about the how the product works, why the product is used, what are the benefits of it, who are supposed to use it, when they are supposed to use it. So customer learns about the product in totality. If there are any promotional schemes or rewards being given, the customers come to know about it. So in this digital era, it has become much more easier to touch the customer very easily. Maybe through the mobile phone, maybe internet, they just pop up a mail or social media. So it has become very much convenient for the manufacturers to reach to the end customers here. Now here, the company has to think about the right communication mix program to reach to the end customers. Since the audiences are very much fragmented today, one cannot think of having a homogeneous group because we as a individual customers have our own priorities, our needs differ, our expectations they differ. So here the audience is much more fragmented. So to reach to such audience is a challenge. That is, you cannot use a single medium. You have to have a mix of this communication. Today, consumers have more choices of media. They come to know very easily through this media about the product, their performance, the competitors. They can easily analyze them. It may be the advertising, which is often a central element of marketing communication program, which helps in building brand equity and driving the sales also. Now, the communication mix consists of modes like advertising, which is any fair form of non-personal presentation and promotion of goods, ideas, or services by an identified sponsor. It may be a sales promotion where we have a short-term incentives to motivate at least the trial purchase from the customer side. There may be events and experiences, that is a different company sponsored programs to create the interactions with the customers. There may be PR, that is public relations, or publicity programs which are undertaken. There is direct marketing, that is through mail, telephone, email, or internet to communicate directly with the customers. There are interactive marketing activities to engage the customers or the prospects. Word of mouth publicity is very important again, which spreads from one person to other person, maybe on a positive note or a negative note about the performance of the product. There is also personal selling where we have the face-to-face interaction of the buyer with the purchaser. That is a company representative or salesperson representing the company to the customers. So here, out of this different marketing communications available, the manufacturer has to take into consideration the mix of all these different available options to reach to the end customers. Many a times the company thinks of having more than one options to reach to the end customers. Now the marketers, they need to assess the experiences and impressions which have most influence at each stage of the buying process also. So here, that's why they try to bombard the customers, maybe with the advertising. The advertisements or any promotion should be catchy enough to seek the attention of the customers. Now coming to the next part, that is developing effective communications. Now this part, we will discuss tomorrow. Tomorrow morning we have a session, and then we will discuss this in the morning session. Today we will stop here. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Any doubts up till here?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.